Says you're wanted with it.
You five or is you a rapper? You said a rapper. I got facts about these, man. Hey, man, I'm on your ass, man.
Pooh Shiesty is now facing a serious wake-up call that's got his entire fan base questioning everything they thought they knew about the man behind all those hard bars and that tough image. The rep he built up on the streets seems to be taking a hit, with talk that he wasn't exactly getting the same respect behind those walls. What really went down inside that prison is turning out to be way more humiliating than anyone ever expected, and we're about to break it all down. This situation has the Memphis rap scene completely flipped out. Everyone's talking about it, trying to figure out what's real and what's just noise. Social media's been blowing up with stories about how Pooh Shiesty was moving while locked up, and now an OG who claims to have been inside with him is spilling major details about how things really went down. But don't trip, we're about to separate the truth from the hype and show exactly what happened when this so-called street heavyweight had to face real-life pressure. For anyone who's new to his story, Pooh Shiesty built his entire image around being that fearless rapper from South Memphis, someone who never backed down, never folded, and always kept it street. His lyrics tainted him as unstoppable, and fans really believed he lived everything he rapped about.
Hey, man, you was in there standing there while you were eating. When they bumped down on you, they asked you, is you under the five or is you a rapper? You said a rapper. I got facts about these, man. Hey, man, I'm on your ass, man.
But according to this OG who says he saw it all firsthand, that tough guy image didn't last long once the cell doors closed. This revelation has people wondering if the legend they looked up to was ever as solid as he claimed to be. Once those cell doors slammed shut, everything changed. But wait, don't jump to conclusions thinking this is just some random person trying to get attention. The details this OG shared are way too specific and way too detailed to just make up. They paint a completely different picture of Ty than the one we see in the flashy music videos. And here's where it really gets wild, because what reportedly went down while he was locked up could shake his whole reputation to the core. So let's back it up for a second and talk about who Pooh Shiesty really is and how he ended up in this situation. Born Lontrell Donnell Williams Jr. in Memphis, Tennessee, this wasn't just some kid chasing clout or trying to look tough. Nah, Pooh Shiesty grew up in a world where that street life was already part of the family story. His father was known in Memphis as a serious figure and even started a label called Mob Ties. So from the start, the hustle and pressure were in his blood. Growing up in the Cane Creek apartments in South Memphis,
Says you're wanted with it.
Mr. Williams, you were arrested for pursuant to an arrest.
Pooh Shiesty was expected to carry that same street legacy. He was supposed to be cut from the same cloth as his pops, a man with respect and a fearless attitude. His childhood was surrounded by stories of the streets, close calls, and the rough lessons that came with that lifestyle. So it's no surprise that Pooh Shiesty tried to follow those same steps. By the time he was just 11, he was already getting kicked out of school and running into trouble. He even had to wear an ankle monitor at one point, way before most kids his age were even thinking about grown-up problems. That's actually how he got the name Shiesty, because he was known for being slick with his moves and always staying one step ahead. In the streets, your name and your reputation mean everything, and Pooh Shiesty was building his off that image of being sharp, fearless, and unpredictable. He linked up with his childhood friend Big 30 and a few other rising names from the neighborhood, and together they created one of the most talked about crews in all of Memphis. Now, let's break down what Choppa Gang really meant in Memphis. This wasn't just some rap group or some young guys throwing up a name for attention. Nah, this was a crew made up of people from different parts of South Memphis and Whitehaven who all came together under one movement.
Now, on just one station, surveillance cameras showing a new view of a in a parking lot of a South Florida apartment building. The barrage of bullets sending 2 people to the hospital, and it lands a rapper in jail. 7 Sheldon Fox.
They had serious influence in their neighborhoods and were known for being about their business at all times. The name Choppa Gang came from their image of always being ready and never backing down from challenges. Their energy was raw, their attitude bold, and their presence in the city couldn't be ignored. Names like Big 30, Lil Hank, and Ant Wop carried weight in the local scene, and everyone knew they were part of something bigger than just music. It was a full-on culture. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Choppa Gang wasn't just focused on street life. They were smart enough to flip their image into a powerful music brand. Big 30 was the first to land a deal with Moneybagg Yo's label, and once his song started gaining serious traction, it kicked open the door for the rest of the crew. Pooh Shiesty started dropping tracks back to back, and suddenly the whole team was buzzing in the city, turning their reputation into a real movement that had Memphis lit. Pooh Shiesty's raw, unfiltered style caught the attention of none other than Gucci Mane himself. For real, Gucci saw a younger version of his own hustle in Pooh Shiesty. That same hunger, that same confidence, that same fire that couldn't be faked. So Gucci decided to sign him to 1017 Records under Atlantic, locking in a major deal that instantly pushed Memphis into a whole new spotlight. The streets couldn't stop talking about Choppa Gang and their reputation. Whispers spread about how their name carried serious weight in the city. People said they had real street history, with ties to multiple confrontations and robberies that had the town buzzing. Pooh Shiesty even had tension with other Memphis artists like Big Boogie, while his cousin Big Scar was caught up in a rough back and forth with a crew known as Double R. This whole movement was built around real-life street energy and that raw Memphis grit that can't be imitated. Then came the record that changed everything, Back in Blood with Lil Durk. That track exploded overnight and became an anthem for the streets. He was rapping about real moments, real situations, and that made fans believe every single word. The song jumped straight to the top, pulling millions of views in just weeks and turning Pooh Shiesty into one of the most talked about artists in the country. His image as that fearless figure from South Memphis was locked in, and the industry couldn't ignore him anymore. But here's where things took a wild turn. The fame, the fast lifestyle, and all that pressure started to catch up to him. His rise was moving fast, but what happened next changed everything. Reports say an incident in Miami turned chaotic after a deal went bad and things got out of hand. There were claims that an incident unfolded where people were injured, and members of Pooh Shiesty's circle were reportedly seen leaving the area in a bright green McLaren.
This all went down right across the street from the police station. Yeah, that's how wild it got. Soon after, Pooh Shiesty found himself hit with serious conspiracy, robbery, and firearm-related charges that carry the kind of time nobody wants to face. This wasn't some small local case he could beat with slick talk or a quick payout. Nah, this was federal, and when the feds get involved, it's a whole different ballgame. Eventually, Pooh Shiesty took a plea deal and ended up getting 5 years in federal prison. For his fans, that news hit like a punch to the chest. They had been holding out hope that he'd walk free or at least get a lighter sentence, but reality set in fast. Their favorite artist, the one they saw as untouchable and on top of the rap game, was now facing years behind bars, right in the middle of his rise to fame. Now, for people who don't know how things really go inside, let's break it down. In prison, especially federal facilities, there's a whole system, a ranking, and a code that everyone has to live by. Certain groups control certain areas, and if you're not connected, or if people think you can't hold your own, you're gonna get tested fast. There's even a humiliating rule that sometimes happens in certain prisons where specific inmates are made to stand up while eating in the chow hall. It's seen as a major disrespect, usually forced on those considered to have no backing or no standing inside. It's a harsh reality that separates the respected from the vulnerable. If you're seen standing up while everyone else is sitting down and eating in peace, that means you're being looked at like you don't belong on their level. It's one of the most disrespectful things that can happen to anyone inside because it's a public way of saying you've lost your standing. Now this is exactly where we have to talk about what that OG said in the viral clip about Pooh Shiesty. This older inmate who claimed to have spent some time in the same facility as Shiesty came forward with some shocking details. According to him, when Pooh first arrived, other people inside stepped to him, wanted to know what he represented. See, in that environment, when someone asks you what you claim, they're basically asking who you roll with, what crew, what set, what family you represent inside those walls. That question means everything because it decides who's got your back, which areas you can move through safely, and how much respect you get in that space. For someone like Pooh Shiesty, who had built his name on being part of Choppa Gang and moving like a real force, you'd think he'd stand firm and claim that without hesitation, right? But according to the OG's version of events, things didn't go that way. He says when Pooh was asked who he claimed, he told them straight up that he was just a rapper, not part of any group or organization. And for anyone who doesn't know how deep that kind of statement runs, saying you're not affiliated basically means you're stepping into that world alone without any backup or protection. The OG went on to say that this move changed how people inside looked at him. In a place where respect and reputation mean survival, claiming you're solo can put you in a tricky spot real quick. He was treated like a non-affiliate, and inside, that means you're on your own. People who aren't linked to any crew often get the toughest treatment because they don't have anyone standing behind them. According to that OG, Pooh Shiesty ended up having to stand while he ate his meals in the child hall, the same way the lowest-ranked inmates are made to. The OG even said you was in there standing up while you eat. When they pressed you, they asked if you was a 5 or a rapper. You said a rapper. You let someone make you stand up and eat your food, man. That's rough to hear. Think about it. This is the same rapper who made a name talking about hitting the streets, being fearless and handling his business without flinching. But according to this story, once he got behind those bars and faced real pressure from seasoned inmates, he supposedly backed down and took that treatment instead of standing tall. It's an image that doesn't line up with the persona he built in his music, and fans couldn't believe it. The wild part is, this whole situation completely goes against everything Pooh Shiesty's career was built on. His brand was all about strength, confidence, and street respect, about being that one person who never folded under pressure. So when people heard claims that he might have been acting like a regular civilian inside, it had the internet in disbelief.
Now, here's why this is such a major issue for him, because in hip-hop, authenticity is everything. Fans don't just vibe with your music, they want to believe your story. They want to feel like the person on the track is really living what they rap about. And when rumors start flying that someone's image might not be real, it can destroy their whole reputation. For people who really understand prison culture, being forced to stand while eating is one of the harshest forms of humiliation there is. It's like a public signal saying you've lost respect, that you're not on the same level as everyone else, and that people see you as weak. The fact that Pooh Shiesty was allegedly put through something like that and didn't fight back or defend himself completely shocked his fans. But here's where things get complicated, because there's more than one way to look at this whole situation. On one side, you got fans who feel straight up disappointed. They believe Pooh was built for that pressure, that he could hold his own anywhere, no matter what. To them, these allegations sound like a betrayal of the image he created in his music. But on the flip side, others are saying he might have made the smartest move possible. See, federal prison isn't like the local or state level. It's a whole different ballgame. Getting caught up in gang politics inside can lead to major trouble, even add years to your sentence. Some people believe Pooh Shiesty was just trying to keep his head down, serve his time, and make it back home to his music career without getting tangled in unnecessary drama. And honestly, that might be the smarter play. The streets have been talking heavy about how this situation highlights a bigger issue in hip-hop, the difference between being from the streets and actually being built for that life. A lot of rappers come from tough backgrounds. They've seen real things, maybe even lived through some of it, but that doesn't automatically make them ready for what goes down inside those walls. At the end of the day, prison life is a completely different world. The rules are brutal, the hierarchy is strict, and every move can decide how your time goes. Inside those walls, the rules hit different. The consequences are tougher, and the people around you are hardened and have nothing to lose. It's possible that Pooh Shiesty quickly realized the environment he was in wasn't like the world he came from, and that stepping back from gang politics might have been the only way to stay safe and focused on getting home.
Maybe he chose to avoid problems, even if that meant taking a little disrespect from others. But here's the issue. Pooh Shiesty built his whole image on being that fearless, untouchable figure who never ran from pressure. His songs painted him as someone who handled business, stood tall, and didn't fold under any situation. Fans connected with that energy. They saw him as authentic, someone who lived what he rapped about. So when these stories came out saying he might have been treated differently inside, it hit fans hard and created a serious credibility problem. And this isn't the first time a rapper's behavior behind bars has sparked conversation. We've seen plenty of artists who talk tough in their lyrics, but once they got locked up, they moved differently. Some even requested protective custody or kept a low profile to avoid trouble. The difference is, most of those stories never made it to the public the way this one did. Pooh Shiesty's situation is out in the open, and everyone's got an opinion. So, the big question now is, does any of this actually change how people should view his music? Does it matter if the man behind the mic handled things differently in prison than how he portrayed himself in songs? Some fans say no, they just want the music, the hits, the energy. But others feel like they've been misled, like the image they supported might not be as real as they thought. Now, this whole conversation around Pooh Shiesty has blown up into something way bigger than just one rapper's story. It's got fans and industry heads arguing about what being real actually means in hip-hop today. Some people say your music should speak for itself. If you can tell a story, paint a picture, and move the culture, that's all that matters. But others still believe if you're gonna rap about that street life, you better stand on it all the way, no matter where you are, even behind bars. Pooh Shiesty's situation has become the perfect example of how thin that line really is between art and reality. Because when you mix real street experiences with fame and money, everything starts to get complicated. On one side, you got a young artist who made it out of Memphis through pure talent and determination. On the other side, you got the heavy weight of expectations from fans, from the streets, from the image he built himself. That pressure can break anyone if they're not ready for it. The crazy part is, even with all these rumors floating around, Pooh Shiesty's name still carries power. His music still hits hard, and his supporters are still streaming his songs daily, keeping his legacy alive while he serves his time. Some people are saying that when he finally comes home, he'll have a whole new story to tell. One that's not just about the streets, but about survival, growth, and bouncing back from rock bottom. No matter how you look at it, one thing is clear. This whole situation has pulled the mask off how the rap game really works. Image can take you far, but the truth always comes out eventually. Whether fans forgive him or not, Pooh Shiesty's journey is showing everyone what happens when fame, street life, and real consequences all collide. And it's a reminder that behind every hit record, there's a human being trying to hold it all together. At the end of the day, Pooh Shiesty's situation isn't just about what supposedly happened while he was locked up. It's about what happens when your entire image is built on toughness and that image gets tested in real life. It's about the pressure that comes with being labeled a street rapper and feeling like you have to live up to that reputation every single day, even when you're in an environment where everyone around you has been through the realest of situations.
The hip-hop world has always put authenticity on a pedestal. But there's also the truth that prison is meant to break people down mentally and emotionally. Maybe Pooh was being smart by keeping to himself, staying out of trouble, and focusing on getting home instead of diving into dangerous politics inside. Or maybe, as some people say, he simply couldn't handle the kind of pressure that comes when the cameras are gone and the lifestyle you rap about becomes your reality. But the big question everyone's asking now is, what happens when Pooh Shiesty comes home? Will the fans who once saw him as untouchable still ride for him? Or will these rumors make people look at him differently? And what about the other artists and street figures who once respected him? Will they still embrace him? Or will they treat him like someone who lost his credibility? Even more importantly, will Pooh Shiesty speak up and clear the air himself? Will he tell his side of the story, set the record straight, and remind people who he really is? Or will he keep quiet, let the rumors fade, and rebuild his legacy through the music? For real, this whole situation has opened up a huge conversation in hip-hop about what authenticity really means, and the difference between being a rapper who talks about the streets and being someone who actually lives that life. Not everyone who grows up in tough neighborhoods is built for the kind of reality that comes with prison, and honestly, that's perfectly fine. But if you're going to build your whole image around being that fearless street figure, people are going to expect you to live up to that reputation when things get real. Now the big question is, What do you think about Pooh Shiesty's situation and where his career goes from here? Do you feel like these stories have damaged his credibility? Or do you think he made the smarter move by staying out of all that prison drama and focusing on making it back home? It's one of those moments where the line between entertainment and real life starts to blur, and fans, the streets, and the industry are all watching closely to see how it plays out. Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's talk about it. And make sure to check out the next video on screen to see more about what really happens behind the scenes in the rap world. Until next time, stay sharp, stay focused, and keep it real.